right, guys, here we're going to talk about the movie Priest. 2011's Priestly. Had you seen it before?
I had not.
Oh, okay.
You had though?
Yes.
Okay. So I saw like the trailer for this, and I was like, this is my shit. I love this. I can't wait to see it. And then like I never saw it.
It did not last long. Yeah. It wasn't very popular.
It flopped, right? It was like a bad thing or whatever. Yeah, but I'm happy to say I'm not disappointed. I actually, like, from seeing little things about it, I'm like, I'm probably going to like this, and I did like it.
I think this movie does posit a lot of things that are fun. I don't think it goes really into a lot of detail on them. I think they were hoping to do a franchise here that they didn't really get a chance to go into, and anytime a movie does that, where like they're like, oh, we left things vague because we want to go into it later, and if they don't get that chance, you're like, well, that movie can never be as good because you just left me going, well, what the fuck is that?
It is definitely not a 10 out of 10.
No.
That is 100% for sure. But I think this might be my favorite genre of movie.
Religious sci-fi?
No, just like I was thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, if you liked Judge Dredd with like Stallone, but like not enough vampires, right? This is your movie, all right? If you liked fucking Underworld or something, but you're like, can we set this in like a Mad Max type of future environment? Got you covered. Like we're good. If you liked Equilibrium, but then you were like, oh, I wish Ultraviolet was better, right? You're covered. This is it. This is your movie,
If you were
guys.
really into Legion, but you're like, that main character is a little too religious. Can we get him one peg lower?
Do something here? So that's something interesting you bring up, because like a year before or after this, Legion came out, right? So I also saw trailers for Legion, but never saw Legion. So when this came up, we're gonna watch Priest. My first thought was this like CG ice cream man or something. And I'm like, I can't wait to see that. That is not this movie at all. There's another movie with Paul Bettany made like the same year or whatever that has like all these other religious things in it. It's very weird.
Yeah, he's a religious guy.
Nothing took off. It's fine.
No.
Now he's Vision. It's a happy ending for Paul Bettany. It's fine. But for us, I enjoyed this a lot. I'm happy with this.
Yeah, I think it's certainly a fun watch. I won't say you could do repeat watches back to back on this kind of movie, but it's something that I'm saying definitely watch it once.
Yeah, I think I've like spelled it out what type of movie you like if you'll like this or whatever.
And if you haven't seen any of those, just don't even watch it.
If your favorite Blade was Blade 2, watch this, like me. If you like that, yes. So yeah, but it's not a 10 out of 10. There's like plenty to criticize and talk about.
And we'll go on to that in
Which we shall
spoilers.
do.
So if you've seen it or don't care, falls over there, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Priest. Let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
I dug it.
Yeah.
I was very upfront about that. I do think a lot of the comparisons might even be counts against it. Like,
Well, they're all things that end justly.
I meant like Christopher Plummer is the poor man's Max von Sydow, and like some of the shit is like,
tell me more.
Oh, they live in giant cities and there's a wasteland outside. And I'm like, that's just Judge Dredd.
That is the Judge Dredd.
That's
city.
just
like,
Judge Dredd.
Just watch them both parallels, like he's driving away and you're like, or walking away, and you're like, yep, that's the same.
And there's a shot really early that reminded me of like the Blade Runner skyline almost. Like there was a lot of shit where I'm like, and it's kind of almost Dark City. It's like all dark and wet. And there was that Ethan Hawke movie where there's vampires and they're real and like everyone's a vampire.
Daybreakers.
Read the sign, sir. We're now only permitted to serve 5% blood with every coffee.
I don't care what the sign says.
Daybreak, yeah. There's all those things where I was like, okay, this is just a bunch of other movies or something.
Yes.
But that's okay. Sometimes you hear like a Green Day song and you're like, this is just 3 chords. He's thinking about how high school sucks.
Yeah.
But that's okay if you like that. Right?
So I would agree, and I will say where yes, the comparisons are. And I was trying to look up. I was like, oh, was this based
like
on a comic and the adaptation was poor or something?
Oh.
But it didn't appear like that was the case.
Well, it's a graphic novel, right?
But I don't think it was a problem with like, oh, we left out because you mentioned and now I'm forgetting Ultraviolet,
things,
and it was like yeah, well they just like left out all these key parts that made the plot actually make sense.
Yeah.
In this one, I just think it was that whole like, oh no, we're just teasing it out because we're gonna make more of these. But honestly, the way it ended, I was like, I wouldn't want to see more of these. Like you needed to do something better. Like you had a lot of money, you had a lot of like things looked good, your ideas were good, the actors were good, but Carl Urban was not used well, like at all.
No,
like he's
no,
barely used.
You could tell, you could tell that they were like, it's good to leave like a sequel open, right? But you don't want to compromise the actual. Like, I think they did think, oh, hey, Resident Evil, Underworld, like we're gonna do that, and you can tell all these, like half these actors end up on other like Carl Urban goes and does like Star Trek and does that.
His wife took the whole damn planet in the divorce. All I got left is my bones.
Like they go do a bunch of these movies, like rolling the dice, trying to find one that's gonna have a bunch of sequels, right? Paul Bettany, everybody.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. So looking back, it's kind of cute. Like, okay, you thought this was how like like silly of you to think that this was gonna be a big thing.
do think this could have been a series that had like some life. It could have been an hour-long television show.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of potential here. The world building they lent out here, I like.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
I like the idea that like vampires are like their own little race.
Yes.
And that's fun. I like whenever you change history, it's like, priests are now just this powerful acolyte of good and they fight off these things. I'm like, that's cool.
Warriors with extraordinary powers, trained by the church in the art of vampire combat.
I like a little more detail on what makes them special and what their powers actually are, because he does some impossible things.
What about him?
His talents developed later. He was nearly your age when the clergy came for him.
I'm a huge sucker for when you take a word that we know and love, like Equilibrium does it with the word cleric.
I told you I'd make my career with you, cleric.
It's like, oh shit, he's a cleric, or something. You do all those things, you're like, oh, okay. Like Titanfall does it with the word pilot.
12-130, hostile pilot down. Not so fast when they're dead.
Like, oh shit, he's a pilot. And you're like, that's just a thing. And it's like, no. In this world, that means you're like a superhuman with like gadgets and stuff.
It's the inverse though when I find out a word means something else.
Yeah.
When I'm like, raptor means thief? Oh, that sucks.
What's that?
Oviraptor means egg thief.
That's what a dinosaur has. Claw, jumps on you.
But where's the
Latin
reference?
Latin raptor and Latin is thief. But like
Did
different
raptor
things.
steal stuff? I don't understand.
Steals your life, motherfucker.
Okay, with his big claws.
Clever girl.
Yeah, but like just things like that. Like I do like adopting a word as something else.
Yeah.
I hate when I find out something was named after something. Like, oh no, that's avocado means testicle. Like I hate stupid things like that.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
In here, though, the religious angle is not just name only. Humanity also lives in this like neo-Catholic fascist dystopia, which I was like
1984 of Christians, like.
Well, like when the bell rings, everyone crosses themselves, and they're all like, everyone stops on the street to like pray and stuff. And I was like, oh shit, it's so dark and shitty. And then later, that actually comes into play.
To go against the church is to go against God.
Where they say, well, all the vampires are headed for the city. Well, that'll be okay, right? He's like, there is no sunlight in the cities anymore because the corrupt, like, bishops have, like, driven humanity to this point where they've inadvertently created the perfect environment for the vampires to come back.
I don't
so
even
like,
understand, and they never explain it. Why would there be reserves of vampires? Like, why are they on preserves? Like,
we've had no reports of any escapes from the reservations. This is obviously the work of wasteland bandits.
Why would you let them live at all? Like,
so at first I was like, that's amazing because they call them reservations.
Tracks head north.
There's a reservation up that way.
Well, then that's where we start.
And then when you get to one, you're like, this is a concentration camp.
Yeah.
This is not like a reservation. This is terrible. There's like barbed wire and like gun turrets and shit like that. So yeah, I don't
like why?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
There's no reason. Like you're not experimenting or we need, they must coexist. There must be evil for there to be good. Like they don't go into any detail on that, which is very much needed for that whole thing to make sense at all.
The movie is like 10 minutes on the short side anyway. Yeah. And spends about 10 more minutes. So like that's 20 minutes you could have spent developing that because they show you the ruins of what looks like a modern city. And the characters are like, what was all this? I don't even know what this was. And I'm like, oh shit, the intro was a lie.
You will not shake that faith.
What good is that faith when it's a lie?
The priesthood, the clergy, not the priesthood, because the priesthood is
are the good guys,
right? But the clergy has just told everyone there's always been vampires, there's always been men, there's castles and horses, it's all fun. No, this takes place in like the far future of our timeline. It's not some alternate timeline. Holy shit, I was onto that. And that is literally that's the only reference, and if you missed it, you would just go like, what? Like there's not developed at all.
No.
I'm like, oh.
If you're not committing sin, you're not having fun.
like at the end he goes back to like throw the vampire head, and I was like, he's gonna call him out and be like, you've lied to the people, you've done this. He doesn't have an accent, but
he's Jason Statham now.
He's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Yeah, no, but none of that happens. He just says like, I'm upset now, and I'm gonna go, you know, do a sequel, which never happens.
Yeah. And like, I guess, you know, like Carl's not the head he throws because he was probably going to be in the sequel.
Yeah.
But like, that would have been so much more effective. Like, not only are there vampires, they're turning priests. Like, should have been like, if you wanted an ending, because it's just so unceremonious.
The priest you told us was dead. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, there's no moment you don't think that, oh, he's the bad guy. Like, the second he gets pulled away, I'm like, why'd they show it like that? Oh yeah, that's your boy right there.
Yeah, and at first, like, the only hope that I had was that was not a literal memory or whatever, that it was like a metaphorical dream or something. But then, you know, it becomes clear very quickly that, like, yes.
How'd you like seeing Bill? You know, vampire
I fucking
Bill.
freaked out, and I went and like checked.
Or like Langford maybe, but Bill, vampire Bill. Oh my.
He literally took his fangs out, drove across town, and then filmed a character who's like, when you find them vamps, you kill them all.
And you promised me something, brother. Kill them all.
He's like and then goes back to film True Blood. Like it was right in the middle.
It's
so
honestly
funny.
a perfect cameo because it's like, oh yes, oh what are we gonna do? Oh, we'll throw him in our vampire movie. Cool.
Wearing your nicest dress. Where else would you have been all day but church?
Like,
it's wonderful. So
and he's a good actor. He's good in it. He's only in it for like 4 minutes, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, he's a small character. Bill Compton, Stephen Moyer as the as a random. Like, people live out on like the wastelands and stuff.
You mean living out here like a prisoner? Lucy. No friends, no fun, just so that someday you might be able to grow something in these godforsaken lands. Enough.
And they don't explain stuff again, so you just see this technology and stuff where you're like, he has like a weird drill thumper thing or something, and you're like, what? Is this in the world? Is this in a fake cool world? And I always love that vibe and things where it's like just kind of showing you some stuff where you're like, what do you mean moisture farming? What are you talking about?
This R2 unit has a bad motivator, look!
I do like, just like you hear like a cattle stampede and they're fucking vampires. Because vampires are cool. They're eyeless creatures. Because they only exist at night, they don't need to see or some bullshit.
And since vampire evolved without eyes, it is a soulless creature to be eradicated.
And like they have a thing. I want more explanation there too, because they have these familiars. They also have these like cave troll defender things.
Okay.
They're like, what are those?
Hold on. So yes, the vampires, like you said, are like a different species, which is fucking dope. Because like, you see people, you're like, oh, that's a vampire. No, those are familiars. The vampires are like another thing or whatever. And yes, they have a cave troll.
They have a cave troll.
Which is super weird. We're like, why is that the thing? They have a big vampire.
Yeah.
And they say, it's a hive defender.
It's a hive guardian. Who the hell are you? It's too big to get down here, which is the only reason you're still alive.
And that brings me to my thesis about this entire genre of things. Oh, I've trapped you. I've tricked you. I've led you down this path. Now you're whatever. Yeah. I think that these movies that I love so much are video game movies, about video games that don't exist.
Yeah.
Because when they point and say, it's a cave troll, right? That's like Leo on the couch, the meme, like, it's a cave! Oh, look, it's...
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
It's a hive but like, we don't know these places or these things, but they're framed and filmed like it's a bigger reveal. Oh, they're gonna fight one of these now. And like, it's as if you're supposed to know the source material to say, wow, but like no one knows the source material,
I liked
right?
what I saw.
Yeah. It's great, it works.
I want to know, like, because we're in a world where other creatures exist.
They should make actual video game movies like this, is what I'm saying. And they always fuck them up trying to do other things. Just do this. Anyway,
and priests are fun characters. Like, they are unbelievably strong and fast. Like, he jumps down a hole that he can't see the bottom of.
If anything comes up that isn't me, shoot it.
You're like, oh, I guess he's fine.
Yes.
Our girl priest has like a whip weapon that she is like throwing people around. and then just completely dismember somebody. You're like, okay. All right, you're a bad bitch. I get it.
When she throws the motorcycle into the person.
Yes.
And also, and this is like the Equilibrium pedigree, or even Resident Evil, or any of these movies. This is a genre. I don't think it has a name.
It's latter-day Resident Evil, yeah.
Yeah, but no, but like when she cuts that person up, she like does a cool pose and all the little chunks fall down. Like, this is intentional. This is like, we're looking for badass moments. Every other scene in the movie ends with someone saying, I guess we'll find out, and then music starts playing. It's so cheesy, and I'm like, oh, I love this so much.
You can follow in my footsteps, or you can follow in his.
It's so pulpy, I'm just like, ah.
They had that Indiana Jones moment where, but like in reverse, where our good guy's like, and then Carl Urban's like,
the like undercutting.
And the guy just like he punched into his heart and he died. You're like, oh shit.
Was he holding his heart? I couldn't tell. It was so
I
dark
think it was just a bloody fist.
Yeah.
But he definitely like got a piece of him.
You shouldn't have a hole there, so he dies. Yes, but obviously, no. Yeah, it's the whole setup. He's twirling his things. You're like, oh, this guy's a badass. And just thwap, he just gets it. Like, oh, it's
I
so
like
good.
how all the priests have different like go-to weapons. I think that's cool. It's not like it's not military trained. Like, oh, we all have our like fucking cross weapon and our this and our whatever. Like, that's cool.
Held on to it all these years.
But there are fun cross-themed weapons.
I say, but it is thematic, where he has like there's one scene where he starts like reading from like the Bible.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
Your words mean nothing to that priest.
For thou art with me.
And then you're like, okay, it's early in the movie. I'm not sure how this all works yet, but it's just a pretense. He's just saying the prayer. The book just has ninja stars in it. And he throws them up, and then it's in slow-mo CG camera tilt, and he's grabbing them and
Neo catching them out of the air.
So I'm like, oh my god! At that point, I was like, well, I mean, we have an hour left. This, like, it's not going to end well, I'm sure, but I love this movie. I don't care.
I like it, but it's also dumb. It's kind of like when Bullseye is like catching the glass, and he. He's throwing it and shit. It is bad, but it is good.
Well, and like Resident Evil, like you're talking, when she kicks the glass into the dog.
Yeah.
And stuff. You kicked a piece of glass.
But the cross-themed weapons I like because it's like, oh yeah, like maybe there is some, because we are carving crosses into bullets, so maybe there's something, or maybe it's just religion. I don't know. But I like the idea that like, no, these are more effective because they are God's implement. Like, but he does have the worst of all like the biblical priest weapons. Like, his is just like the cross where he pulls the thing off of it, and you're like,
little knife.
Like, this is my little knife. And he throws him to Carl Urban's neck, and I'm like, okay, it didn't seem to do much to him.
While we're on that topic, though, when Carl Urban pulls it out, I love how we're not saying his character's name because we don't know it. It's
Black Hat was it? He didn't have
that's
a
what he's
name
credited
on it.
as, but yeah, we just have to say Carl Urban.
Yeah.
When he pulls it out of his neck and then shouts some lines.
Your faith has failed you.
There's like blood like spurting a little in this really cool way, and like the light hits it and stuff because he's a daywalker, Carl Urban.
Yeah, they don't go into detail on that too. So
it's
like,
just a thing,
because when he explains it, he's like, I am the first human vampire, and I'm like, that's not the reveal I wanted. I would have wanted and I'm the first priest vampire. No priest has ever been converted before, and that's why I am so powerful. Not just I'm a human. If you could just convert any human and they'd be dead, they would have done this millions of years ago. Why is it special now?
Human vampire. Join me.
I think it's because it's the Queen, you know, like you're saying or something. But yes,
the Queen had an interesting look.
Yeah, the Queen is they're all sort of generic CG nightmares or whatever.
Yeah.
But again, for the genre, that's expected, and I like it. It's like horrible CG nightmare monsters are the rubber alligator of this genre that you like instead of hate, right? It's that vibe.
They remind me of a mix between the villains from the Scooby-Doo live action, those CG fucking monstrosities, and what was that movie called? Like They or Them or whatever, where like they're coming out of the shadows.
Oh, there's a they, yeah.
They.
But they're like weird.
Yeah, they.
Yeah.
I mix they and the others.
Well, even
because they came out like the same year.
Even Constantine has those mindless, like half head lobbed off dudes, whatever. There was a lot of this. Oh, and Constantine's another CG, you know, monstrosity battle between heaven and hell.
Constantine's coming soon.
I don't want to see that.
I'll check it out.
I watch everything. It's fine. But yes.
God help us.
When that motherfucker jumps on those rocks like he's playing Sega. I was like, what is happening? There's no physics on that. Like it's worse than it is in Lord of the Rings in that Hobbit one. Because like these are like tiny rocks that she's like, ha ha. He's like, well, ah. I'm Sonic or Mario. I could jump on these blocks.
And you can't even say, well, he's an elf. I guess elves are light. Is that a thing? Like you can't even make anything up. He's just a dude. Yeah. And yes, so that's what popped into my head when you said like, I'm not sure what a priest is. They do things that don't make sense. Like that was what popped into my head. Yes. She throws two rocks, and I'm like, I guess if she throws the rocks hard enough, the momentum of the rock, but the way it's visually depicted, like the rock moves down. And I'm like, well, that can't happen.
Yeah, it would have to remain constant.
Yeah, it would have to be a weird thing where you have to you'd have to ride the rock a little bit. It would have to keep moving in the same direction.
It just struck me as odd because they didn't have to meet that high in the air. He could have waited till it was lower and still did his same jump move and cut its stomach and it would have died.
That's the hit or miss of these like little, like the set piece where he throws up all the little like jacks and then plays, you know, pickup sticks with them so fast. Like sometimes it hits where I'm like, oh, that's so dumb, I love it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I could have done without that one. That's a little too much.
And that cost you time, money, like that's the worst. Is like when you put it like someone wrote, oh, this could be so fucking cool, and then you see it, you're like, should we take it out? We put a lot of money into it. Maybe we keep it in. Take it out.
Paul Bettany broke his foot trying to film that, so we actually have to. No.
I know there was something that on the train scene, Karl Urban stepped on his hand.
Yeah.
By accident, and fucking he's screaming in real life in pain because his hand got stepped on.
It's one of those like, wow, what a good actor.
Yeah,
like, you're killing me. It's like, yes. I think he's supposed to step in a way where it like looks like he's stepping on his hand, but he stepped over here where it's just him literally stepping on his hand.
I remember we were out and a girl's glasses fell off her face, and a friend went to do the fake stomp on them, and she lost her balance and stomped the shit out of those glasses. And it was so funny, and you just hear like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll buy you a new one. She was like, I got those in Paris.
Also, that's terrible because you were jokingly doing it.
Yeah, so, and then it looks like you intended.
So to anybody watching, it looks like you were like, and you just like destroyed it. Okay.
And that's Paul Bettany's hand.
Absolutely.
I thought he was a good actor.
I just thought he was such a good actor. I did like Karl Urban in this. I know.
I like him in general.
I just like him too much.
I think he's very underused in this.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, come on. Like he's very token. I
was shocked at I was shocked at how little he's in it.
Yeah.
And then
I am the bringer of the tide. I am the wave that will wash clean this unclean world.
if Priest had caught on, by the way, we'd be getting like Priest Awakening, Priest Reckoning, Priest Rebirth. We'd be getting all these like fucking movies just like Resident Evil, and then Karl Urban would come back in like 3 or 4, and he'd be like, and his face would be burned, and he'd be like, I want my hat back, and it'd be this fucking awesome thing, and I'm just like, stop thinking about this. You're making yourself sad because you're never gonna get that now.
Yeah, and by movie 5, he'd be a good guy again.
Of course,
Yeah.
no, he'd like spiking it up. He'd be like, I've realized that the like the Queen betrayed us, and there's actually like there's actually like vampires who feed on vampires, and they're more dangerous than any vampires. We have to kill them. We have to go to the center of the earth and fight the rock people.
Only the tongue carries the virus. It is injected through these barbs.
I like that intro sequence, the cartoon, is an afterthought, but it is pretty good. I think it's effective. It's an interesting style.
The style's good.
It's like it's a kind of cheap, but that kind of makes it great.
The vampires were quicker, stronger, but man had the sun.
Now the style kind of fits with the aesthetic of the movie in a way that I was kind of shocked by. I didn't go back and look at the comic. It might just be the aesthetic from the comic.
Maybe.
The actual comic, but whatever. Another thing that had me going was like when he flees the city or leaves the city, they show him on like a motorcycle, but it's like a jet bike.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, like he has a jet bike because he's a priest and that's what they do or whatever. But then like that's just what bikes are now.
Yeah.
There's this giant turbine, and that was like alone. I'm like, that's a nice little thing. That's cool. I like that. But then he's like doing his thing, and then it cuts to like the little panel, and it goes like nitro. And I'm like,
this is what confused.
Oh no. I'm like, the jet bike has nitro. This is so good. I love this.
But later on, they're in like the city when I think after they've realized there's vampires on these motherfucking trains, like type of thing.
I'm sick of these vamps on this. Okay.
He's like, I gotta go charge up the bikes, and I'm like, they're electric.
I'll start charging the bikes. It's gonna take everything we have to stop that train before it reaches the cities.
I'm like, can you use nitro on an electric bike? I don't know if that works.
I was a little thrown off by that too. There's a scene where it looks like there's like a solar panel, a tiny one, getting plugged into the bike. And part of me was like, okay, that's for like the computer. It's not for like the fuel. I don't know though. And sometimes things have a thing where like oh, this part, like the igniter has to do this, but then the turbine is run off that.
It's just really strange. Whenever they do this combination far-flung future thing where there's the past and the present and whatever, I'm like, okay, so we're still using old school like trains. We have pocket watches.
What the hell?
And bullshit, like we're an old west fucking, like I'm wearing my drab clothing. I'm dressed like I'm a frontierswoman, but I got my nitro bike.
As you were talking, I just got a bigger and bigger smile on my face. I'm like, hell yeah, you do.
There is a crossover period where those things all work great, and I think that Firefly did a lot of that in like the exact right order, and I think some of this stuff I was just like, wait a minute, what the fuck? That like junk heap guy's driving like an old like Beverly Hillbillies wagon. Like, I don't know that these things could ever cross over.
Do you speak of the incomparable Brad Dourif?
I do.
I have seen a vampire bite a man clean in half. Salvation is right here in my very hand.
One of my favorite character actors. When I saw him, that's when I was literally like, okay, I'm sorry, this is the perfect film.
He's good. I would have liked a little more of him. He wasn't in really at all.
Well, but he's in there as a snake oil salesman where, to your point, he's driving like a carriage thing, which is like from Django. He has like a fucking, he's like, doot doot, he's running around. I'm like, it looked a little futuristic.
I think there's some things cobbled on there, but not enough for me to be like, oh yeah.
But lining that man's pockets with your hard-earned cash.
You don't know that. You're just a kid. We got to do something to keep us safe.
Yeah, he's selling fake holy water.
Yeah, it's like snake oil holy water, basically. Where it's like,
I would have liked if we went one step deeper on that, like before he was chased away, like he's selling this legitimately fake one, and he is on the vampire side. So when they try to use that shit, it does nothing. Like, would have been nice.
Right, but it turns out he's just a scrub.
Purchase this holy water and keep your loved ones safe tonight.
Yeah, Karl Urban, when he bites him, when he turns him, also pretty good scene. You're getting a little more ratcheting up of Karl Urban, but when he's like feeding on him, and you watch Brad Dourif like
the color drain from his face.
Color drains from his face. His eyes go that other color. starts to the veins and stuff. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that was good. I liked that. It was nice. You don't have to do a lot. Just show me something.
That
It was
actually,
cool.
no CG or makeup there. He's just a great actor.
Yeah. I believe that about Predator, honestly.
Yeah.
Is he dead yet?
No.
Good. Priest 2.
All right!
Well, he died in the movie, though.
No, he says put him to work.
I could have maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn that he was one of the... I'm going to cut this out because I'm not sure about this.
Oh, fuck.
I thought he was one of the bikers that gets killed very quickly.
Oh, does he come back to die?
thought
Oh,
so.
shit. I don't even know.
I'm not
Damn.
sure. I'm not positive.
Well, I'm pissed now. Yeah, I don't know that either.
There's no 2, Ellie, ever, so it doesn't matter.
Stop. Why you have to hurt me like this?
We're too late.
It's dumb in a great way. Okay, the character of Hicks, I thought. Like, the second he shows up, I'm like, I hate this guy.
Just thought I should let you know in case you wanted to come along. Figure I could use someone like you by my side.
I hate everything about him.
He's the wrong actor, I want to say.
Oh, yeah, he's like a fake actor.
Like he should have been somebody
Was Jai
else.
Courtney not available?
Like, I get the vibes of he is the worst version of that cop from Dexter.
Hey, fuck puddle, what are you doing?
Just giving your guess hello.
I came over here to sleep, not to have your fat little sausage fingers all over me.
The one that like dated the sister for a little while, I think, and they didn't like each other or whatever. And he's like on to Dexter, and I think Dexter kills him. I can't remember.
Do your fucking job.
Or I don't know. What else is that guy from? Is he in like some fighting MMA movie? Like that guy's familiar enough, but I don't know.
Well, he has a familiar face, but I think that's because he has the most generic Sam Worthington ass, whatever face in the world. Jai Courtney, there's another one. There's all these actors who are just like, I don't know, get one of those guys. It's like, what? I don't know.
And it wasn't like he was bad.
No.
It was just that, yes, he was just like he didn't do anything for me.
Like, I don't remember the trailer anymore, but I wanted that Paul Bettany, yes, we're going to find a thing or whatever. And then this guy comes in like, they think we're a bunch of hicks, and I just throw them a knife, and I'm cool, and whatever, bang, bang. You're not going to shut me out of this one, man. And he's got this whole like...
No, you are not cutting me out of this. I'm the one that came and got you.
Wasteland sheriff of the whatever vibe that I'm like, you're not right. You should be older, maybe a little fatter or something.
Or more hicky, like more character actor or something.
Like he knows
less pretty, maybe.
Yeah, he's too pretty. He knows too much about what's going on too. Where it's not this like wow thing. Like him being Lucy's boyfriend. I was like, okay, I guess that explains it.
Do you love her?
And like I said, he grew on me, but I still was like, it's rubbing. There's some friction in the script for me here. I don't like this guy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he just wasn't very fleshed out. Like too much is hinging on like I'm your dad, I'm this, I'm that. Like there's a lot is going on.
Once they reveal that Lucy's priest's daughter, because like that's like the fourth thing where they like reveal. Wait, and you're not that, and I'm the. It's so much. I'm like, why are we doing all this in this movie? It's so dumb.
She's his daughter.
She was just a baby when the clergy took me.
Well, really, it's what leads into that reveal where he's like, why do you even care or whatever, blah blah. Because she's his daughter, and I'm like, why are you pulling a gun on these guys? Are you planning on taking this train on yourself?
Why do you even care? She is nothing but a stranger to you.
You suck. Yeah. You need them. Like,
no. And
get off your high horse.
And Paul Bettany says that. He says, if you kill me now, you will not stop the train. You will not save Lucy, blah, 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 blah.
You won't stop the train, and you won't be able to save her. You won't save her.
Yeah. Trying to like reason with him. But yeah, that's the problem, I think, that it's shoehorned in that he's like on a hair trigger looking to stop Priest from killing Lucy and how dare you and stuff, where it's they were trying to get that point across, but in doing so, like it's too bulky.
You need somebody that had like more of a like a Josh Brolin, like could have done something.
Like a young Josh Brolin in his prime.
Yeah. But yeah, the movie just kind of ends. It builds up a lot of questions as it goes, doesn't answer them. In fact, like as its ending is like throwing out more questions just for me. Like it is obvious to me why a sequel was not made here.
The war is over! Priest!
No. It's just beginning.
Because you don't want to end on a high note where people want more, and this definitely fizzles.
Yeah.
Even their big explosive ending. Literally is kind of like, yeah, sure, that was gonna happen. What do you got?
And just like Paul Bettany's big speech at the end to like the clergy dudes, the bishops or whatever, archbishops, where he says like, go check the train outside of town. Like it's very like, I don't know, ask them, go over there.
Look inside the burning train just beyond these city walls. You'll find hundreds more like it.
Yeah. As a weird, like definitely petering out, and I hate to say this because this became its own meme of like they were trying too hard to set up a sequel and like it doesn't work, but like this I think is like one of the rare cases where that is literally true.
Yeah,
they were
because all the talking parts with the clergyman, like you're like, okay, you're building towards something that they're going to reveal or say something, right?
If it weren't for the priest, we would have been overrun by
We are well aware of his accomplishments, Monsignor Chamberlain.
Oh, hey, well, okay, listen.
They don't really go into it enough.
Allow me to tie it all together.
Please.
Where I thought it would have gone would be like, oh, they're like up to something. The vampires are doing right, obviously, and that's why you see ruins of the cities. They've hidden the past. They have to keep the vampires there for some reason. They have a truce with the queen, and now she's like pulling out because she's been secretly building up whatever. We impose sanctions on them, and then they develop nuclear weapons until the point where it's this weird thing going on.
Or something like, we're using them so that our clergymen can live forever, and they needed the blah blah, and now we're being backstabbed. Like some reason they have to have them around.
Listen, if Christopher Plummer takes contacts out, and he's a secret human vampire made by the queen back when she was with them, and then they betrayed the queen and locked her up, and they don't know that she got out, right? Imagine like
they're all like old, really white people, so they could have all been former concubines. What do they call them? Familiars. Like that would have worked for me. I would have been okay with that.
A different type of thing, or a whole thing like that. Yeah. And that's what's missing is that, because like when you're on the train, like the action set piece goes on for so long. I had that thing, in my head click of like, oh wait, this is the finale. Oh shit, no. And I had that thing happen.
No, it's too much. Yes. This would have, I think, done well starting in the past. Because nothing changes. Like it's not like Underworld where it's like we use guns now and blah blah blah. Like things are so different. We have all this technology. They don't use any technology. Like they're exactly the same. So like all their powers would have worked the same way then, and I think would have been more fitting to this like medieval, like or even like a horror-y zone for it.
Or even like he's having that recurring dream from back when they were the shit, and now he's in the future. So you could have him go to these places that are now crumbling, and then thinking flashbacks of awesome battles with like knights and shit, and in the past. Just something to like
tie it all together.
There's a lot of directions you could have gone in, for this film, and it chose to go none of them.
Yeah, it just fizzles out.
It said, come back for the sequel, and then that was their own doing.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
You have no idea what's coming, priest.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust. Come and browse our aisles for the movie.